Coach, do you worry about falling out of any rhythm with the time off?
It's just part of it. I think we got a pretty good plan for the week, and we'll see what happened there. But we play just enough to keep our rhythm, I think, and our timing down. And then we do a lot of stuff, obviously, with the film clips and everything like that. But it's a good thing to have, really, because we got a few bumps and bruises that we could use the time also to kind of heal ourselves.
Are you preparing for like two different teams right now? Are you kind of?
Oh, I think you have to. You have to. You got to understand. I was at Phoenix for 9 years, and you don't ever underestimate San Antonio. Okay, I've seen very difficult situations and everything that you could possibly see with them, and they found a way to have new life. And with the situation that Pop's going through right there, I guarantee you every guy on that team is going to play as hard as he possibly can because they'll do it for Pop. He doesn't have to ask them to; they would just do it for him.
What's the toughest part as far as from a coach's perspective, dealing with this kind of stretch and making sure you guys keep that edge?
Oh, I just think that you just stay on top of things. We just did some, a few competitive things today, and I think you got to be smart about it also. But we want to make sure that we're mentally prepared as much as anything. I think when you get to this situation right here, you don't have to talk about playing hard or competing. I think you can see all the games gets a little chippy when you when you played against a team, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. That everything gets a little chippy, and I think everybody's playing at such a high level from an intensity standpoint that you're going to see some things like what happened last night in the the Utah OKC game, or even our game, and just about all the games that kind of had some little added confrontation, if you can call it that. But I just think that's the way it's going to be.
How much have you coached your guys to stay on the bench?
Excuse me?
How much have you coached your guys?
Oh, no, I told them that's not an option at all. I say you leave the bench and you're going to get suspended, and we can't afford that with anybody on our team, not a starter or a bench player or anyone. You got to be disciplined enough to understand. Just like I told them in the Portland series that, this is exactly what's going to happen. They've done everything they possibly could to try to beat us in 3 games, and they hadn't. So you can believe that it's going to be a physical, holding, a little edgy game, and that's exactly what it was. But I told them in those situations, you got to be, you can't be this, macho guy. You got to have enough common sense to just turn and walk away, because that's more value than being this tough guy at this stage.
Game 1, Coach, considering that whoever you playing is going to have a few days rest, and they're going to play, and you might have a considerable rest. Are you worried about that first game or about being well rested?
I think you always worry about it because we were in such a great rhythm, and I still say that the rest that we're going to get and the opportunity for guys to just, get through a couple of, minor injuries that they have and get them completely, well or healthy or feeling good is more important than that. So I think we'll get our rhythm back, and it might take, a quarter or whatever. But the one thing is that I think when you play with the kind of pace that we do, that it's easy to recover from a rhythm standpoint, I think.
Is it almost, I guess, like a passive-aggressive compliment or something that I guess is disingenuous when people say the Pelicans have done well and everything from this point is gravy, or they're playing with house money at this point?
I don't know what house money is. I've had bad days in Vegas, so I don't know what house money is. But I know that we're not satisfied with anything that we've done yet. And I think that there's a great opportunity out there for us. We have an opportunity to play the world champs. Obviously, we're going to have the opportunity to play San Antonio. Either one of those teams got, championship pedigree written all over them. And so our goal would be to compete at that level right there also to see what would happen. So we're not writing off anybody, and we're not over preparing for anybody right now because we don't know what's going to happen. But I do know that we're not playing with house money, whatever, whatever that is. We still have goals in mind, and we still think that they're attainable, and so we're locked in to for the long haul in this thing, not just, hey, we're happy where we are right now and that's it. I mean, you don't get this opportunity very often. And if you go back and look, there's a lot of situations where this doesn't happen, I mean, I just remember reading about Dan Marino, and, when I was in Miami, he went to the Super Bowl as a rookie, I think, and never came within a game of going back in 18 years. So I just think that when the opportunity is there, you got to somewhat seize the moment and then and try to do the very best you can. And we're not going to be satisfied. And whoever we end up losing to, if we don't win the championship, it would be tough to swallow. And I think that's the attitude that we have to have.
Do you think you're the team that no one wants to play right now?
I don't really care about that. That's I don't know where that comes from. I think that's a media thing that comes up, that they're a team that you don't want to play against. I think you got to understand, like, at some stage in the next couple of days, there's going to be basically 8 teams left. And, all those teams are going to be really good basketball teams. So I don't know if it matters at all who you're playing, what the matchups is. Obviously, everybody says, well, this matchup is better than this one. But you're going to be playing a very good basketball team, whoever it is. And so I think you just play from this point on and try to do the very best you can.
I would think this team has embraced that underdog rule, kind of everybody doubting you going to everything after the Marcus entry.
No, we have fun with it, especially like with ESPN. I think all 23 people they had picked Portland, but, I can understand that. I would understand why they would pick Portland, in those situations. I mean, they're a team that was playing great. They're the 3rd seed. There's not many people that go, yeah, the 6th seed is going to beat the 3rd seed. So I can understand that. And I don't, I think when you get into, God, they didn't pick us and we're going to show them, if that's your motivation, you're not going to be very good anyway. Our motivation is within ourselves. We think we're a good basketball team. We think we can play with anyone. And that's where the motivation has to come from, not because somebody, the old word in the NBA, because you get disrespected by somebody. I just think you go out and play at this stage because you want to do well for the guy sitting next to you.
Following up on that question a little bit, though, say it is a Golden State, or even if it's a San Antonio with their championship pedigree, this team talked a lot during the Portland series about being slept on. Does that help continue that edge, though, if they are considered an underdog?
Well, I'm sure whoever we play, Golden State or San Antonio, will be an underdog again. Once again, it's very understandable, but none of that matters to the guys in the locker room or the coaches. We're gonna prepare and we're gonna play just like we can be successful against anybody we play.
Do you feel like Antoine's role is a little overlooked when everybody kind of goes through those performers and you look at the positions he defends and what he's started to 80-something games? I mean, do you feel
but we've always said that. We thought that, he was one of our most consistent players last year. And, because he's a really quiet guy and doesn't say a lot, sometimes I think he's taken for granted. But, as coaches, we understand the value that he has to our team and we understand what he means to our team. And there's been games where when we need him most, he's come up with huge numbers. And so we know that he's very capable of that also.
Alvin, how much do you think for a guy like Rondo, being with the team like this, being with someone like Anthony Davis and seeing a possibility to win championships here, how much do you feel like that breathed life back into his play?
I think he's always like that, though. I think that, when playoffs come, he's the type of guy that's going to get really locked in. I think it's been great for us because he's that edgy guy that the guys look at for leadership and some things like that. And, he really gets locked in and concentrate and do a lot of good things when the playoffs start. If you look at what he's done from an assist standpoint, he's gotten every guy on our team, he's gotten some easy baskets for him.
Do you think whether it was Sacramento or Dallas or some of those other spots where he just hopped for a year, I mean, so many people talk about him as kind of a basketball savant. I mean, do you feel like you can have a moment where there's a disinterestedness, I guess, when you just don't have that?
I don't think he was that way at any place. Not Chicago. Like I said, everybody forgets that in Chicago, he pretty much willed them to 2 wins in Boston, before he got hurt. And Sacramento, he played with fire just like he would, if they were playing for a championship. I mean, he loves basketball. Basketball is his life. And when you look at like I said, I mean, I don't know of another player that I've ever coached that takes every practice and every game and put it on a computer and look at it when he goes home. And he looks at it because he comes in the next morning with 10, 12 questions. So I just think he's a good guy to have around. Our guys really, really respect his leadership, especially AD, which becomes really important. And they totally believe in him as a leader, so I think it's great.
As far as, I know yesterday a report came out that the team had informed you they were picking up the option. Is there a potential extension in the works for you, and how happy will that make you to continue coaching this team and bringing stability and winning ways to this franchise?
I'll be honest with you, I think it's great, but it's not anything that I even worry about. I really don't. I mean, our emphasis right now is trying to figure out a way that we're going to beat San Antonio or Golden State. And then all of that stuff seems to take care of itself, after the season or when the timing is right. And so I really hadn't given it a second thought, in all honesty. I want this team to do great, and, whatever happens from there is going to happen anyway.
Why is this streak, you think, Alvin, right now? Why do you think it's all coming together the way it has over the last month?
I think a lot of it is timing. The timing has to be great, and, it's not the first time that I've seen this. When I was at the University of Kansas, a zillion years ago, we struggled going into the tournament. I think we were 18-11, if I'm not mistaken, and just started to play really good basketball. We won 6 straight games, and we were national champs. So, it's kind of a timing thing, and you like for it to happen at this time of the year. And you've had teams, Houston has won 17 straight, Portland has won 13 straight. I think Golden State's won 15 straight, but it's really important to be playing your best basketball right now, and I think that's what we're doing.
Going back to the option, is it good just to have that locked in and know that next season to be able to, continue what you started here?
Yeah, I love the city. I love being here. What would I do without Fletcher? I don't want to be without Fletch. So it's good, but it's good. This is a really good city. I love the city, and I love the people here. The fans can be tough. I've experienced that, but that's okay. At least I know that they care. And so as long as that type of situation is here, I would love nothing more than to be able to do what the Saints did, 8 years or 10 years ago, and be able to have a parade to celebrate a championship here. That's as a coach, that should be your goal anyway.
But you obviously came in with really high expectations because of the personnel, right? This was to have it kind of.
Well, I think injuries can derail any situation. If you go back and look, when any teams have had major injuries, they've struggled some, and we just never really had, an opportunity to put together the team that we thought that we would have that had just gone to the playoffs. And that's, so, we're finally healthy, other than having, Cuz here. We're healthy, and everybody's accepted their roles, and I think that's why you can be a team that can take off and go, because our guys truly believe in each other, and they really do play for each other.
What sort of got you through those tough moments that the team had? What kind of pushed you and kept you going?
Well, because I think when you got great people that you call friends in this league, I never talk to Pop until I'm in a really tough situation. And then he seems to always call at a tough situation. Doug Collins, the same thing. Ty Lue. I got a lot of really good friends that's in this NBA that they understand when you're going through tough times, that's when they reach out. And I think that's what get you through the really tough times, when you're struggling. And, it wasn't so much, I think, there comes a time, I've been fired a few times, and I think your skin get thicker when that happens. But I still think that you've got to have confidence in yourself. I think I'm a good coach, and I won't let anybody take that away from me. And you have to take the circumstances as best you can and try to do the very best you can. But you have to have confidence in yourself. I think that's the main thing, and I think given a healthy team, or the personnel and be able to play that you feel like you can play as a coach, then I think you have success. And then if you don't and you get released, then that's the way the industry is.
What about the notion of patience? interference though being awarded in this business? It's not always the common routine way it happens, is it?
No, it's not. But this is what you choose to do. And as an industry, I think I'm very lucky because, the Bensons are great owners. I mean, I really believe that. And although Mr. Benson is not here anymore, I've had the opportunity to spend a lot of time with Mrs. Benson, and I can tell you right now, she's in 1,000%, not 100%. She's in 1,000%. When she started talking about, hey, we got to make sure that we don't have a game, on Derby Day. I mean, she's in. She's very much in. And so I think as long as that's the case, I think you got to do the very best you can. You got to have confidence in yourself. You got to work your butt off. And then if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out.